This
Order.
conference will now be recorded.
Opening the meeting. Well, as you know, I'm not Cheryl, so I'll do my best tonight at managing this meeting. So we're going to open the meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Drago. Second by Belinda. I will. Be it resolved that we do call this regular meeting of council to order on Wednesday, April 1st, 2020 at 6:02 p.m. All in favor? Carried.
Just do that next one first before you review the agenda. Or thank you, the chair. Next.
Oh. So, okay, council resolution for to make me the chair tonight, moved by Peter. Second by Belinda. Thank you. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the township of Hornpain does hereby appoint Councillor John Paroff to act as chair for the regular council meeting held April 1st, 2020. All in favor? Carried. Okay, review and note any changes to the agenda. Tonight we have two quick changes. We're going to add 11.1 Ontario Forestry Industry Association's Building Stronger Greener Ontario, and section 12.5 Hydro One keeping Ontarians and our electricity system safe. Okay, so the approval of the agenda, moved by Drago, second by Belinda. Be it resolved that council does hereby approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Carried. Now is the time to disclosure of any pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Declaration of conflict of interest. You can declare it now or anytime throughout the meeting. Number 5, adoption of minutes, special council meeting minutes held Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. Have you guys reviewed it? Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Peter. Second by Belinda. Thank you. So be it resolved that council of the corporation of the township of Hornpain does hereby adopt the minutes of the special meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 18th, 2020 as distributed. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, 5.2, special council meeting minutes, Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. Has everybody reviewed it? Okay, can I have a move by Drago, second by Belinda? Be it resolved, the council of corporation of the township of Hornpain does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 25th, 2020 as distributed. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Number 5.3, regular council meeting minutes, Wednesday, March 25th. Oh, did I miss one?
No, we had two that day. Not the regular meeting. It's your special and the regular.
Okay, sorry. So this is the regular council meeting on Wednesday, March 25th. Moved by Peter, second by Linda. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the township of Hornpain does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, March 25th, 2020 as distributed. All in favor? Carried. Hold on a minute here. That's any second. Sorry about that. 5.3, so if we move on to number 6, business arising from the minutes, none being any. Number 7, deputations, presentations, tender awards, and open discussion, none being any. 8 is petitions, there being none. 9, disbursements, we don't have any. 10, or managers report. Managers report from the CAO clerk.
So if you want to just report to ask council if you have any questions for Gail.
Has everybody read it? And do anybody have questions regarding that? No questions for Gail?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the manager's report from the treasurer. Has everybody read it? And is there any questions for Melissa? That's good. We're moving right along here. That's great. The public manager's report, has everybody read that? And is there any questions for Duane? He's online and he's looking for a question. No questions for Duane? We're going to move along, and next we have the report from the Economic Development Officer. Have you all read it? Is there any questions for Stacey? No questions? You know, I gotta say, you guys must have done a really good job because there's not one question. All right, well, thank you. So we have to pass a resolution on the manager's report. Can I have a mover? Moved by Drago, second by Peter. Be it resolved that the Council of Corporation of Township of Hornpain does hereby acknowledge receipt of the manager's reports provided at the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Correspondence action items, number 11.1.
There's two big resolutions for that one.
What happened to them? That's these ones?
No, they have staples in them. Yep.
No, they are in front of me. Thank you. Okay, you guys, I don't believe you guys, oh, here they are.
They would have seen them.
Okay, so you guys seen them?
No, they haven't.
Okay, can I have a mover for for this resolution? Peter? A seconder? Drago? Okay, whereas all levels of government are responding daily to the health and economic challenges related to the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas these new challenges, the decreased demand for lumber and therefore pricing, combined with the collection of unfair and unjust tariffs, will place lumber producers under new and extreme pressures. And whereas many lumber producers will need financial support in order to survive this crisis and to remain viable. And whereas the Ontario Forest Industries Association, OFIA, is asking Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to establish a commercial loan guarantee program equivalent to the duties paid by each lumber company during this period of unprecedented uncertainty due to COVID-19. And whereas an effective loan guarantee program can restore business continuity, keep mills open and people working while work towards a positive resolution to the softwood lumber trade dispute continues. And whereas prolonged litigation and collection unjust illegal duties have starved central Canada's lumber sector of cash, and whereas approximately $3.6 billion in duties has been collected Canada-wide and approximately $300 million in duties has been collected in Ontario alone. And whereas the lack of liquidity due to the collection of unjust tariffs combined with COVID-19 related challenges is jeopardizing the survival of businesses critical to the economic and social fabric of Northern Ontario. And whereas government continues to unveil stimulus programs to help the Canadian economy in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas loan guarantees backed by accumulated duty deposits provide a manageable level of risk for the Canadian government, and whereas such a program would give the sector the staying power to keep Canadians working during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne strongly encourages the federal government to establish a Canadian Commercial Loans Guarantee Program, CCLGP, that supports Canadian lumber producers with working capital and prevents illegally collected duties from interfering with the normal course of business. The CCLGP would be available to any lumber producer that has paid anti-dumping and countervailing duties, allow Canadian companies to access up to 75% of the paid anti-dumping and countervailing duties through loans at commercial rate comparable to current bank rates, and be repaid once the illegally collected duties have been returned to companies or within 10 years. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution is to be sent to the Honorable Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Deputy Prime Minister Krista Freeland, and the Ontario Forest Industry Association. All in favor? Any questions? Does anybody have a question? All in favor? Carried. Any opposed? Okay, carried. Oh, that was a mouthful.
So can you guys hear me? Yeah. I just spoke to Tony Wiskowski about an hour ago, and he requested that we do a federal one and a provincial one separately. So that's why you now have two resolutions.
Yes, sorry, thank you, Gail. The second resolution is the provincial one, I believe. Can I have a mover and a seconder on this one? Moved by Belinda, second by Drago. Gonna make you read this whole thing again. Whereas all levels of government are responding daily to the health and economic challenges related to the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas these new challenges, the decreased demand for lumber and therefore pricing, combined with the collection of unfair and unjust tariffs, will place lumber producers under new and extreme pressures. And whereas many lumber producers will need financial support in order to survive this crisis and to remain viable, and whereas the Ontario Forest Industries Association, OFIA, is asking Honorable Premier Doug Ford to establish a commercial loan guarantee program equivalent to the duties paid by each lumber company during this period of unprecedented uncertainty due to COVID-19. And whereas an effective loan guarantee program can restore business continuity, keep mills open and people working while work towards a positive resolution to the softwood lumber trade dispute continues, and whereas prolonged litigation and collection of unjust illegal duties have starved Ontario lumber sector of cash, and whereas approximately 300 million in duties have been collected in Ontario alone, and whereas the lack of liquidity due to the collection of unjust tariffs combined with COVID-19 related challenges is jeopardizing the survival of businesses critical to the economic and social fabric of Northern Ontario. And whereas government continues to unveil stimulus programs to help Ontario's economy in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas loan guarantees backed by accumulated duty deposits provide a manageable level of risk for the Ontario government, and whereas such a program would give the sector the staying power to keep Ontarians working during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Township of Hornpain strongly encourages the Ontario government to establish a provincial commercial loan guarantee program, a PCLGP, that supports Ontario lumber producers with working capital and prevents illegally collected duties from interfering with the normal course of business. The PCLGP would be available to any Ontario lumber producer that has paid anti-dumping and countervailing duties, allow Ontario companies to access up to 75% of the paid anti-dumping and countervailing duties through loans at a commercial rate comparable to bank rates. Be repaid once the illegally collected duties have been returned to companies or within 10 years. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution is to be sent to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honorable John Yakabuski, Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, and the Ontario Forest Industry Association. All in favor? Any questions? All in favor? Okay. Carried, sorry. Okay, I gotta move my thing here.
We can just ask them all if they have anything they want to talk about for information. Or if you want to talk about anything.
Okay, so is there anything anybody wants to discuss in that part of the meeting? So if we can move on to correspondence information only. Have you guys read the information only? Any questions you want to ask? Okay,
So, John, just
Go ahead.
with regard to the naming of the three bears, I guess we already had a resolution for that last year, and Stacey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that everything's set up for Taylor to go ahead and start working on that, and it won't really involve much of the township staff time because we really don't have the time at the moment. Am I correct in that?
Is that Stacey you're looking?
Stacey's color one.
You're on mute there, Stacey.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So Taylor does have a survey format set up for the contest. The rules have been created. She was going to launch it on Monday, but I actually asked her to wait till after the council meeting. She'll be doing all the work on that, so it wouldn't involve township staff.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Stacey. I mean, we'll be there to support her if she needs it, of course, and I just was hoping that we weren't going to have to take the lead on it right at this time.
No, I think that the HEDC board, they've decided that they would take the lead on that. Definitely the township doesn't have the time to do any work on that.
Okay, if there's no further questions on the information only, can I have like to pass the resolution? Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Drago, second by Belinda, or moved by Peter, second by Belinda. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornpain does hereby acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package attached with the agenda at the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. All in favor? All in favor then? Thanks, carried. Okay, no donations, conferences, seminars, and training, we have none. Committee reports is empty. News and other business, the COVID-19 update. I'll ask Melissa if she can start off with that.
Okay, so well, since our last council meeting, I've been sending out various media releases, and I thank you, Drago, for providing those to distribute to council. On March 27th, the Porcupine Health Unit indicated that they had their 7th case in our area. On the March 29th, they advised that there was no new cases in the Porcupine Health Unit. And then on March 30th, there was 2 new cases. So that was the 11th and 12th. Then we got a correspondence from the Porcupine Health Unit that they had divided up the Porcupine Health Unit catchment area into 5 separate cases, or 5 separate areas, sorry. And our area consists of Hornpain, Hearst, Vallarita, and Matisse. So we did have a community control group meeting today. Last night we found out that there was 18 cases within our area and none yet in our area 4, which Hornpain is included in. And just before council meeting started, I just sent out an email saying that they have 3 more cases. So our Porcupine Health Unit now has 21 cases, but still none in our District 4. So maybe Drago, if you have anything further to add to that, or if anybody else would like to add any information.
That's correct, Melissa. It's 21 cases. The last report was sent out at 5:33 p.m. and that was the latest. Is 21 cases.
So I just wanted to say that I've participated in the last couple of CCG meetings, and Stacey was telling me today that Doctors Duane and Henderson put out about a 30-minute long video. It's on Facebook. She sent me the link so I can forward that to you all if you don't already have it and you haven't already seen it. She said it's got some very good information in it. I think things are going well. I think we're well prepared as a community, as prepared as we can be. Melissa, Duane, everybody that's been sitting on that committee's been doing a fantastic job. Drago, Cheryl's been a great leader in this. I think that the hospital also feels, Dr. Cameron feels that we're well prepared. And I find the communication between all organizations has been really open and supportive. So I'm happy with where we're at right now. So we've set regular meetings for every Wednesday at 11, I think. And we'll continue with those as is unless something comes up that we have to deal with in between. So I think we need to just keep getting the message out there, physical distancing, wash your hands, sanitize your house. I've said this right from the beginning, it's only gonna work if we as individuals do our part, and I think we have to get that message across to those who maybe aren't taking it quite so seriously. I think probably most are, but I think it's important to keep spreading that word. And Duane, would you mind giving a little update on what you've done in the last couple of days?
I managed to secure some more rubber gloves for our guys, and I managed to find some sanitizing solution from Loon Distilleries in Hearst. So I have some ordered in.
Okay, thank you, Duane.
And I think, sorry, just one more thing. I think have you taped off our?
Yes, all our parks and the beach, Cedar Point's been taped off. All our parks, tennis court, badminton, basketball court, the baseball grounds, all the little parks around the town have all been taped off with caution tape not to use.
How long did that take you to do all that, Duane? To go and tape everything off?
About 5.5, 6 hours on snowshoes.
Holy cow, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gail, for that, for your comments. Is there any other questions on the first update? If there's none being said, we'll move to 16.2, the Community Control Group Meeting Update. Declaration of Emergency Notice. I'll let Melissa speak to that right now.
So since our last council meeting, we've had 4 CCG meetings, two on Friday actually, one at 11 a.m. and one at 3 a.m. Then we had one on Monday and then another one today. So our community control group, everybody who is part of that group has pretty much been in attendance, and if they haven't been there, it's because of a conflict in schedule, but most people have been there, including the hospital, who's been on every call. Dr. Duane and Dr. Cameron have also been very active in our community control group. And so after our second community control group meeting on Friday, we did release a media release on behalf of the township, which just reiterated to continue to practice physical distancing, frequent hand washing, refrain from touching your face, and sanitizing your household surfaces regularly. And then at our second meeting on Friday at 3 o'clock, we were discussing declaring emergency. So we, as a group, decided our mayor was prepared to do that at that point, and we figured that maybe a little bit more time was needed to prepare, and doing it on a Friday afternoon wouldn't have been such a smart idea. It might have created panic, so we did hold off, and she did declare an emergency on Monday morning, and then the declaration of local emergency media release went out at that day at noon. And then yesterday, we put out another media release in regard to the Ontario government's new order that all recreation amenities should be closed. So we put out a media release in that regard, telling everybody to stay off of road or they could be subject to prosecution and fines. And Duane roped off everything as he had mentioned. And also yesterday, I put out a notice that advising that the Council of the Corporation Township Quarantine has agreed in principle to extend the deadlines of the municipal services accounts, and then details would be forthcoming after the April 15th meeting. And aside from our media releases, the only thing that really goes on during the CCG meetings is all the individual groups, the OPP, the Porcupine Health Unit, EMS, everybody who's involved just gives updates and provides where they are, if any new things came about since the previous meeting. And like Gail said, we are going to be going forward weekly with meetings once they at all.
Okay, thank you, Melissa.
Somebody else might want to say something, because there's been a few of them have been on the call as well.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to speak to that? No? I just want to say that when I first found out about it, I was a little, I had some questions, but even talking to the local people in town here, everybody thinks that was a brilliant thing to do. And it's good for the mayor and the council and the group to have made that declaration. And I think we're in the right direction here. Okay,
John, just to add to that, as of Friday, I haven't looked lately, but as of Friday, actually as of Friday morning, last Friday morning, 188 municipalities had declared already. So I'm sure there's probably another, 30 or 40 since then.
Yeah, thank you. If there's no other comments on the declaration of emergency notice, I'd like to move to 16.3, Tourism Northern Ontario Request for Proposals, RFP. Oh, would you like to speak to that a little bit, Gail, please?
Yep, I wasn't too familiar with what this was all about. So I was reading through the sample that was sent, which really has nothing to do with this project at all. It was just a sample. So I ended up calling Pat Forrest. As you know, Mayor Fort was the one that was sort of speaking with her, and if she'd have been at the meeting, I'm sure we would have been well informed. But I wanted to get some more information about what it is. So as we know already, I think we can use it for put out an RFP for trailblazing, basically, and or for a community tourism plan, or for that matter, I suppose, a regional plan. The problem with putting an RFP out, particularly for the community plan, is we need to know what result we want before we issue the RFP, because that's what needs to go into the scope of work. I don't know if we're ready for that right at this point, and I don't know if, like I know on the economic development agreement that we have with FedNor, that work on tourism was supposed to begin 12 months from now and last for 24 months. And I think in the SDR, the branding and marketing is set to start sometime this year, but to carry forward into the third quarter of 2021. And right now we have our hands full. I wouldn't want to miss out on any funding. But what Pat Forrest said to me today was that this is actually the first day of their new year. And with this COVID-19 pandemic happening, their priorities are changing, and she doesn't even know what they're going to be using the funding for this year. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. She just said we would be justified in postponing it if we wanted to. Now, saying that, if council wants to go forward with this, we can make it happen, but something else is going to wait. And we have to know what we're looking for as a result. The trail is not so hard, I don't think, because we all know we want a trail and we want the best trail from the best location. And I didn't specifically ask her about that, but I think when Mayor Fort was talking about that before, I think they find consultants that will help develop that and help find that for us. That could be useful. I'm just not so sure about the tourism planning at this moment in time, unless we have a vision of how we want it to look. So those are my comments. She did say that the funding has been around for several years and she doesn't see it going away. We need a scope of work is what it's all about, because when we put out an RFP, we already have a vision in our head of what we want the result to look like. So I don't know, that's just my comment. So I guess it's up for discussion.
Go ahead, Drago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I concur with Gail. I think we should leave that in a holding pattern. And these are priorities right now. Even if we proceed, we can't have people on site or looking at things. I think there is a Gail to just start it, April, and then let's find this another whole year of looking at it. And hopefully within 2 or 3 months, we'll be at that stage. Thank you, Gail.
Anybody, any other comments on the topic? So do we want to hold off on the request for a proposal for now? I see Drago saying yes. Peter, Belinda, you guys want to, okay, so the resolution is, can I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution? And we'll just defeat it for now or defer it? Defer it?
I would prefer defer, Mr. Chair.
I
Thank
agree,
you.
defer it.
Yeah,
But
I
can I
would
have-
defer it and bring it back. Well, technically, once something's discussed on a meeting, it's not supposed to be brought back for 6 months according to the procedural bylaw.
True.
I mean, you can choose to circumvent that. So if you wanted to set a time of 3 months or whatever, that's entirely up to you. It's just, I don't think it's the best time right at this time, that's all.
So Gail, what you're suggesting, we could defeat it and then bring it up anytime you wish to then. Again, as opposed to deferring. We defer a 6-month time frame, correct?
No, it's once you've been dealt with and there's been a resolution, it's not supposed to come back for 6 months. Whether it's defeated or passed or
Even deferred?
yeah. But you can, but if you want to say, if you want to, like, I mean, it's different, I suppose, if you're just deferring for more information.
Yes.
That's one thing, because we've done that. But if you want to pick a date, that's fine. We'll do that, and we'll just put it forward to that meeting. But we need to know what we want to do with this.
Exactly.
Or there's no point in issuing an RFP. What would we be issuing it for?
Right, I agree.
So if we deferred it for 2 months,
I don't think we'll be ready in 2 months, John, myself, but I mean, this pandemic is going to last for, I don't know how long the pandemic's going to last for, but the effects of I think it's going to take us a while to get back on our feet, and it's going to take us a while to wade through the things we have to do, because everything is at such a slower pace because of the difficulties of communication and accessing files and It's just a lot of time has been spent so far on the pandemic itself. Like Melissa, I don't know where she disappeared to, but I don't think she's done any treasury work since I left.
So I would recommend to defer at least a minimum of 4 months.
Yeah,
I think
I think
that's
that's
a fair
more
amount.
reasonable,
Yeah, I think it is.
like realistic.
Yes.
No, I just want to ask a little procedure protocol. Do we need it to be moved by and second by? And I just mark off deferred?
Yes. Yes, and if
Sorry.
you wanted to add, if you wanted to add a sentence to that, you could, and say we'll look at it again in
July.
July or whatever you choose.
Mm.
And then we'll just bring it back to that meeting. Truthfully, Destination Northern Ontario, she basically said that she has no idea what they're going to be working on, but all the priorities have shifted with them as well. And it doesn't sound to me like this is going to be on the top of their list at the moment.
Okay. So we'll add a new sentence. So can I have a move by and a seconder, please? Moved by Peter, second by Belinda. So right now we have it, be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the township of Hornpain does hereby authorize CAO clerk to issue a request for proposal, RFP, for the development of tourism strategic planning and trail wayfinding. I think we talked about deferred. So I was going to add a sentence. This will be deferred and this will be revisited in July.
Yeah,
That's 4 months.
or I would say it will be placed back on the agenda for the July meeting.
Okay, so this will be placed back on the agenda in the July meeting. In July.
Hopefully by then we'll be sort of back to normal and we can at least look at the trail.
Yeah. Do we have a date for the last meeting in July?
I don't think we set those meetings, have we, Shannon?
No, we want to set it to June.
At end of June. Typically, it's been the 6th or 7th or 12th or something in July, but
Okay.
we just
So
usually have board meeting.
I just added a sentence to that saying this will be placed on the agenda in July. In the July agenda.
Back on the agenda at the July meeting. There's only one meeting in July. At the July 2020 meeting, maybe. We sure had 2020.
Okay. This will be placed in the July 2020 meeting.
This will be placed on the agenda for the July 2020 meeting.
That's much better. Okay, and we're going to defer it. So all in favor to defer it? That's a yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you. 16.4, local business owners retirement, Murray and Susan Oliver. I'm going to ask Melissa to talk about that.
So Cheryl wanted this on the agenda. It's unfortunate that she's not here to speak to it, but she had mentioned that she wanted to do something for the local business owners, as they have been the longest standing business owners in our community. And she had mentioned that maybe something special for them at an acknowledgement dinner that is, maybe Gail would speak better to this, but at the acknowledgement dinner in December. So Gail, if you want to speak to that, because I don't know if I don't know much about this acknowledgement dinner in December.
So this is just in its conceptual stages, and what it started out as was, I'm sorry? What it started out as was a discussion about Christmas and staff get together, and it sort of morphed into, well, maybe we could do an event, like a community event, and have some kind of a performer or something at this event, or maybe we could invite, the different staffs and businesses in town to attend, because everybody has such a small staff, and you go somewhere and there's all of 5 or 6 people there. So again, it was Stacey and myself and Taylor and Cheryl, and I'm not sure if there was anyone else there, just sort of throwing around these ideas of how we might have an annual event in December. So this was, I think, what Cheryl was referring to, about maybe recognizing them at such an event. Stacey, did I, is that a sort of a concise description of what we talked about?
I think that's a good description of what we were talking about, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we have time to think about that and bring it forward and just for another meeting. I think we owe it to them because they have been here for a long time and did a good job. So if we can go on to 16.5, council committee updates. Does the council have any updates they want to talk about tonight?
Just wanted to let you know you're getting some good comments about the light in the pavilion.
Oh, yes. Nothing from you, Peter?
Oh, you're muted.
Your mic.
Oh, sorry, you missed a lot what I said. I said there's nothing going on, it's pretty quiet.
Thank you. How's Drago?
Just a couple items. I've been sending newspaper articles, one from City of Timmins Council, to see how they're dealing with their upcoming budgets as we are dealing. Majority of council in the City of Timmins does not wish to vote electronically and pass a budget. They won't discuss electronically until the last. They're actually willing to wait in Timmins if it has to be June or July. So the reason that's why I'm sharing that with you. I watched their live meeting last week. So something to, and I mean, they're much larger than us, but a majority of councils felt that they will not vote electronically on their budget. I also sent another article, City of Sudbury and greater area, the council, what they're doing, helping the local businesses. It was interesting, the thing they help them with, it was called bonusing, but whatever, read the article, please. They're doing a lot above and beyond the regular stuff. The thing is that whatever they're doing for one business in Sudbury, they're doing for the entire businesses. They have a choice to be part of it. And Stacey's doing some of it, I realize that, but they're more in depth. And City of Sioux as well, they are helping businesses through economic development and tourism. So I'm not sure what the bonusing comes in, but they're doing it. I'm not sure there was a new legislation, but I think if that's the case, we should be doing that as well, going forth as best as we can for all those people. The other item is, which I brought at CCG this morning with the OPP. My concern is, since it's legislated from the province of Ontario, anything more than 5 individual gatherings, it's illegal. They should be fined. The gentleman that spoke on OPP said, well, education. I think all the people should be now educated by this time. It's not the first day with this COVID-19. And this is to the clerk, to Topore, and also to Clerk Gail. Should we write a resolution or a bylaw to ask the OPP to control and assess the situation? Because I'm seeing more than 5 people walking side by side.
We could send a letter to them, I think, because I think they're waiting for the province to come down harder is what I got out of that. And I don't know that, well, what he basically said on the call was if they get a report or if they see something, they'll go over to the people and they'll speak to them and remind them. And then if it continues, and it made it sound to me like if it continues more than once,
Yeah.
then they would lay a charge. But they did seem a bit reluctant to be doing that.
I see that.
But certainly if council wants us to write a letter, I don't know about a resolution. Just because I think they're kind of following a provincial, not mandate, but directive.
No, I understand.
But we could send a letter expressing our sort of
To encourage
concern.
them.
Well,
Yeah.
our concern that, this is pretty serious, and if that's what it's going to take, then maybe that's what, we could ask them to enforce. We could do that.
I'd rather be proactive, Gail, than reactive. I don't want to see a COVID-19 here and all of a sudden said, gee, no one's enforcing anything. I think this should be sent to correspondence, courteous, respectful, but that's where I stand on this issue. I'm not sure about anyone else. Thank you, Gail.
Well, it is concerning for sure.
What does the rest of the council think about that? Peter, go ahead.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Drago. The only thing that we got to keep in mind right now going forward when we make a request like that is, from what I understand, the OPP and all the other law enforcement agencies are stretched out. All vacation and time off has been suspended until the pandemic is over. So we have to be careful how we write the letter, because if we put it in as a request, I did get that from the last meeting that I was attended in Timmins, and that would fall under enhanced services, and we would have to get a bill for that after. So we just but I agree with you. And just even having an increased police presence, I've noticed there's been a couple extra cruisers in town, and people have just knowing that they're there has been kind of keeping them on their heels a little. But I do agree with what you're saying.
Thank you.
Any comment, Belinda?
No, I'm in agreement with Holly.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of a friendly reminder letter.
Yeah.
Rather than make it sound too hasty,
Right.
But,
and my final comment is to Melissa and the entire team. Worked effortlessly. I know they did, and not only I appreciate that, and I also thank them at the same time. I truly, sincerely mean it.
And I second that.
mhm.
So getting back to the letter for a minute. So basically stating our concerns and where it could lead if things continue, and asking for, we did just do that, and I'm glad to say you've seen a few cruisers, Pete. But just ask again for an increased presence, and maybe that alone would help to spur people, sort of thing. So just a gentle letter. Okay. And Drago, did you say, I haven't had a chance to go through my emails yet, but did you say you sent those articles out to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll find them then.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And last final, sorry, I was fully cognizant we're blocking off all our parks and playgrounds. However, my concern is, this is to Gail, I'm not sure what the Algoma District School Board is doing. It's nicer outside, you got a beautiful park, the separate school. I mean, you could block our parks and Cedar Point. My concern is what are they doing? I didn't see any block us up yesterday, but I think somebody could maybe contact them, see what's going on, please.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that to when Duane brought this to my attention yesterday yesterday, I think it was. I mentioned it to David to mention it to his superintendent, and I haven't yet reached out to Lori and Simone, but I'll do that tomorrow, just to give them a sort of a heads up.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Okay,
Can I just say something on behalf of Cheryl?
yes, so I'll turn the table over to Melissa.
I just want to read you a little something that Cheryl provided in regards to community outreach for questions. She said, hosting an electronic town hall, it would allow citizens to tune in and the questions come in written form and answer as they come. If a town hall is hosted, it may generate questions that would have to bring to council for answers or may reach one of you for the correct response. She personally, it would be a bit of work, but I'm willing to do it to make our community aware and add a sense of security for citizens to connect and ask straight up what has been going on instead of just being given media releases and updates. She's thinking that she wants to do it on Saturday afternoon, and she's asking for your direction if that is something that you would like her to do, and what are your thoughts on that?
So it wouldn't be a council meeting, or it would be a council meeting?
No, I asked her about that, and she said it would be like the mayor's address.
I have no problem with that, Mr. Chair.
What are your thoughts are okay there, Peter?
Yeah.
Linda?
Yeah, that's fine.
So Melissa, is it just Cheryl that would be speaking? I couldn't, you were a bit muffled and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it would just be Cheryl, so citizens she would go live on video, and then she would be able to answer questions that citizens have.
Okay.
I'll let her know that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great thing for Cheryl to do. That'd be really nice. You know, all these efforts that we're making on this COVID-19 thing is strenuous on everybody. But I think it's something we have to do. And if it came to this little community, I think we'd be a hurting unit for sure, right? So we got to think of that. Anybody else have anything else on the updates to report on? None being, then we could move to number 17. No resolutions. We have no bylaws. Motions and notices of motions. There are none. No announcements. And at this time, we have a closed session for council. So if we're okay to sign off for a bit. Oh, sorry. So council resolution for a closed meeting moved by Peter, second by.
Sorry, just before you do that, we're tuning back in here afterwards, right? Just in case people want to tune back in. Okay.
Yes, sorry, that's correct. Yes. Can I have a seconder, please? On the motion, Belinda? Motion is, be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting at 7:01 be closed to the public in order to discuss labor relation or employee negotiations pursuant to sections 239, section 2D of the Municipal Act 2001. All in favor? None opposed? Carried.